And more investigator concedes defeat. His voice quivers as he declares, "I'm done with this case." You grin in the shadows, knowing that he's the fourth one this month. Whatever you did, whoever you are, I've never seen anything like it. They keep sending them, private investigators that follow Olympic competitors across countries, seasoned ex-military and former FBI agents. But one by one, these experts break down, troubled by what they see. Some change jobs completely, while others return their checks uncashed. Your name has become a coded warning in the shadowy realm of monitoring and surveillance, not because you're dangerous, but because you're something they haven't seen before. Someone who challenges what they believe to be true about their line of work by turning their own game against them. They come ready, with equipment ready and notes in hand. They have previously monitored others. This shouldn't be any different. However, it is. Something changes the instant they target you, even before they start working. It begins subtly, with a prickle on the back of their neck, an odd silence in the air, and the feeling that someone is watching them, even though no one is there. They first disregard it. They tell themselves that it's paranoia, a result of spending so much time working in the background. So they go onward. They check places, ask around, and attempt to put you in a pattern, something predictable and reasonable. The disintegration starts at that point. What should be straightforward becomes complex. What ought to be clear becomes hazy. They hear your name, but it has meaning. Each word conveys an implicit caution. They follow you around, but the trail turns and twists and doesn't take them anywhere. They press harder, and then all of a sudden they stop. Not because they succeeded, not because they discovered what they were seeking for, but because something stopped them. A force that is invisible and indisputable pushes into their head, into their chest, and into their very being. It's not a fear. It's not a panic. It's recognition, something more profound, a comprehension that is beyond reason, an insight they are unable to articulate. When they return to the person who sent them, they all say the same thing: leave it alone. This isn't because they were afraid. Rather, it's because they saw something they weren't supposed to see. They drop their tools, shut their notebooks, and turn away. They have the greatest cutting-edge technologies available, including behavioral analysis, prediction algorithms, and infrared scanning. They have previously followed persons who don't want to be discovered or who are ghosts in the system. However, they never let you down. Then everything breaks down when they meet you. Not everything occurs at once. Their trackers first identify areas that don't make sense, and their software lags. But you weren't here. They are unable to verify your existence, but they can see your shadow. They rerun the data and find nothing. No mistakes, no rational explanation for failure. They follow their instincts, which tell them to strive harder. They broaden the search, gather video from all perspectives, examine your movements, and seek for trends. However, no pattern can be found. You don't act as if you're trying to avoid them. You don't vanish as a runner does. You just don't exist for them. It becomes worse as they attempt to approach closer. Their techniques don't work on you, not that they can't see you. Like attempting to use a matchstick to map the ocean, or attempting to follow a flame by capturing its smoke. They don't comprehend as much as they push. Years of experience have sharpened their instincts, which begin to turn against them. They sense an imperceptible wall, an unidentifiable force field. They reject you. Their instruments don't break down. It's as if the cosmos itself forbids measurement, tracking, or capture. Even if they don't comprehend it, they are confident that they weren't supposed to discover you. It becomes stronger the longer they observe you. Their minds wander and their hands become shaky. They lose sight of the original reason for their search. They concentrate and shrug it off, but it recurs. You take a deep breath, glance at your phone, or even move around a room, And yet it seems like the cosmos reacts. Their chest feels heavier, and they're not sure why. They hear a whisper, a warning, a presence, not with their ears, but in their minds. They have no idea what it is. They are aware that they are being observed even if they came here to watch you. That isn't logical. They sense it even if it defies logic. Your presence distorts the world around you. They make an effort to get information, but it eludes them. They make an effort to keep their distance, but something draws them near. It's not a fear, not danger. Another thing, acknowledgement. All of a sudden, they are the witness, rather than the hunter, observer, or tracker. Furthermore, what they just saw was never intended to be seen. Leave a comment. Their hunt comes to an end with me. Every tracker, hunter, and seeker will come back if they stop at the boundary of your existence and are unable to continue. However, they are not equivalent. They were assigned to follow you, collect data, and deconstruct your behavior, habits, and presence into something manageable and comprehensible. However, they currently need an explanation. They seldom speak. They sat in front of their bosses, looking at an empty notebook and a blank screen. The information they were meant to gather, lost. They were expected to write reports, pointless. What are they saying? How would you describe a fundamental meeting that wasn't physical? Every statement seems incorrect, despite their best efforts. The weight of their experiences causes every effort at reason to fail. They became part of the tale, even though they were meant to chronicle you. Their reports seem more like confessions than intelligence briefings. I have no idea what took place. There was something. They're not typical, I'm not sure why. Not typical, no. Something else. Some of them completely give up writing. Some people abruptly quit their employment. Some never even come back. Because following you was a message, not merely a duty, and they clearly understood that. Not all dangers are repelled by your presence. People are rewritten by it. They enter with the assumption that they are detectives. They realize they were never supposed to become involved as they leave. They now know it instead of simply believing it. They anticipate going unseen. They anticipate being in charge. However, you alter the equation. The earth underneath them vanishes more and more as they dig deeper. They first refer to it as paranoia. But you are not unknown, and paranoia is the dread of the unknown. There is no denying you. They believe that they are researching you. They are unaware that they are being observed. Their techniques? Irrelevant. Their strategies? Useless. Running is not necessary. There's no reason to conceal. You are above their comprehension and beyond their grasp. Nevertheless, people see you as a force rather than a presence. It becomes evident the further they go. Watching you was never the point of this. This was about the results of their attempts. Because what are you doing was never the true question. Why are you still untouched? It was. And they are the ones watching over their shoulders by the time they figure out the solution. It is them who are attempting to vanish. Because you don't just avoid being pursued. The hunts become the hunted because of you. They believe they're taking the initiative, that they made the choice to follow you, and that their timing, plan, and approach are all well thought out. They are unaware that you were previously aware. Before they collected intelligence, you knew them. Before they stepped foot on it, you had already taken it apart. Before they even spoke your name, you had already closed all the roads. The communication had already been cut off by you. You don't just respond. You expect. Something changes the instant the idea crosses their mind, before the plan is put into action, before the first command is issued. Their plans abruptly go apart. Their strategies fall flat before they start. Their whole strategy becomes outdated, and they have no idea why. How are they going to combat something they don't comprehend? How can they be ready for an undetectable threat? You're not just in front of them. You are functioning at a level they are unable to understand. This is not a gut feeling. It's not luck. This is accuracy. You don't wait for them to do anything. Before they occur, you can see them. They never had a chance of winning the game. They plan. You've already seen the result. They get ready. The door has already been closed. They make another attempt, but their goal is neutralized before they can get started. Not because you retaliated, not due to your resistance, as you were never required to. They have no idea how you maintain your lead or how every effort to follow you ends in failure. It goes beyond simple avoidance. It goes beyond simple avoidance. It's something far more sophisticated. You exit a quantum precognition region. You see before others do, before they plan, you know. And they've already lost before they've even taken a single step. Just stop there. You indeed. It's okay if you don't feel this message. Go on. This message isn't for everyone. But you'll know this is for you if you sensed it in your bones. Those who don't belong. Those who are able to look behind the curtain. They were instructed to be quiet, to settle, to conform. But they were never able to do so. Ordinary things don't interest them. They are not here to obey the laws of others. They are the unstoppable, the untouchable, the storm that shatters illusions, and the light in the dark. They are, if necessary, following their own route alone while the rest of the world is busy running circles. Not for the cheering, not to get approbation. However, that's who they are. To those who take something that was intended to ruin them and turn it into something that is magnificent. Those who possess knowledge that must be gained rather than taught. Perhaps it's time to locate your folks if this speaks to you. More than 400 of us come together to exchange knowledge, make connections, and undergo transformation in the Obsidian Inner Order. The only site of its type and the top ascension nexus for chosen ones. Don't wear masks, no games, just the facts. It takes a team to move. You are never left unattended. It is not a theory that you are protected. It's not a belief. It's not luck. Active intelligence is what it is. A force that moves precisely, eliminating dangers before they have a chance to harm you. They believe they can follow you and that their schemes will work out as planned. However, they are always thwarted by something. At the worst conceivable time, their equipment fails, their communications falter, and their technology malfunctions. They reroute and try again, only to encounter yet another obstacle, a financial problem that didn't exist yesterday, an unexpected obstruction, or a misunderstanding. Every effort to go ahead fails. It's no accident, it's not opposition. Intervention is what it is. Not only are you safe, something invisible, something inexplicable is protecting you. They're not sure what to call it. Destiny? Vitality? Their results are being rewritten by some invisible power. They are unaware that it is not abstract. It's accurate. The fundamental foundation of their plan starts to fall apart the minute they lay eyes on you and believe they have a plan. Ignoring the indications, they attempt to push beyond it and go onward. However, the doors crash more forcefully the harder they push. They begin to be questioned by those they trust. They start to have doubts, unable to explain why. Some may turn away entirely. How about you? You take no action. You don't defend yourself. You don't have to. Because the result has already been determined by the forces around you. It's already finished by the time they comprehend what's going on and begin to wonder about the impossibility of the failures that stand in their way. They would never make it to you. They had no intention of doing so. You don't run. You don't conceal anything. You don't have to. They attempt to find you in the hopes of apprehending you and putting you in a logical system. However, you are not a part of their system. They see you everywhere and nowhere, visible and unseen, present and absent. They anticipate a chase, but none is present, because they are unable to define what they cannot capture. They search for you, go over documents, and examine movement. But your presence is fleeting. It seems as if you were never there. even though you are in the records 1 second. They are certain they have you 1 second, and then you are gone like smoke. They believe they have lost you. They are unaware that they never had you in the first place. Since you don't just avoid them, you take precedence over them. You have a flowing energy that moves across different planes of experience. You are a force, a light, and an indisputable presence to those who are supposed to perceive you. However, you disappear to those who try to map you, monitor you, or make you into something little and quantifiable. They are betrayed by their own sight. They are rejected by their own systems. They keep watching the video, believing they saw you and that you were there. However, nothing exists. It's not magic. It's not dishonesty. It's the truth. Considering that you are not a target, on a map, you are not a fixed point. Unreachable, untraceable, and unstoppable. You are a contradiction. They will never be able to see what was never intended for them, no matter how hard they try. They believe they can observe you. They believe they can research you. They believe you will understand their aim. You don't block them, however. They don't argue with you. You don't dodge their gaze. You reroute it instead. Something changes the instant they concentrate on you. Their minds are disorganized. Their intentions are unclear. Their motivation for following you starts to shift. It takes time. They first think they are in charge. They make notes, do analyses, and try to create a profile of you. However, they become more lost the farther they go. Because for them, every attempt to encroach on your world is an experience. They mirror themselves in every notion they have about you. Every strategy they come up with leads to unexpected questions like, why are they doing this? What makes this feel different? Why does their purpose seem so illogical now? They make an effort to persevere, to get back on track, to stick to the goal they were assigned. However, something within of them shifts. Their intentions disintegrate. The need to comprehend you becomes the urge to spy on you. The want to manipulate you evolves into a yearning to examine oneself. They believe they are here to find out the truth about you. They are unaware that you made theirs public. Considering that you are not being watched, you are a reflection. Additionally, the individual who first began observing you has changed by the time they turn away. You didn't have to battle them. They didn't need to be blocked. Because you were never impacted by the incursion. It turned into an illusion. The one behind it all. The one with the strings and the one who continues sending people after you won't be stopped by them. They possess resources. They are powerful. At least they believe they are in charge. They think it's possible to trace everyone and everything. That someone will deliver them an answer if they put enough money, personnel, and force into observing you. However, it always ends the same way, regardless of how many they send or how much work they put in. They await reports, affirmations, and evidence. Instead, however, they get quiet. Or worse, bewilderment. The trackers return, one by one. Neither triumphant nor successful. They sit down to explain, shaken, but they are unable to speak. They make an effort to explain what transpired, but their descriptions are incoherent. We couldn't find them. They appeared and then vanished. We couldn't touch them. I'm not sure how to express it. It surpasses us in size. And the person who sent them is enraged by that response, that reality, because they won't accept it. They don't accept that you are out of their grasp. They send more as a result. The resources are doubled. They alter their strategy. Nevertheless, the same outcome is always the same: nothing. They consider themselves to be dealing with a delusion. All they believe they need is a better squad. They fail to see that strategy isn't the key here. It concerns you. They aren't being avoided. They are not being resisted by you. They can't control you. They will never be able to respond. They will never have a coherent report. They also fail more often the more they attempt. because no amount of money or power can ever make you a member of their system. They eventually give up trying, not because they've discovered you or succeeded, but because it's no longer worthwhile to pursue you. You're above them, outside of their systems, incomprehensible to them. You are more than simply a person, yet they create tools to locate individuals. You are powerful. They develop techniques to record movement. But movement isn't all you do. You transcend. You cannot be measured by data. You cannot be predicted by any algorithm. You cannot be mapped by a blueprint. As you are not a part of the framework. You're not hiding. You're not running. You just can't be touched. They don't believe it at first. All they needed was more time, more money, and more sophisticated equipment, they convinced themselves. However, nothing was effective. For you are not something to be sought for. You are something that others will notice. And only those who are supposed to see you will. You are a power they cannot identify, a whisper, a myth to them. You are an oddity to the world, both present and absent, everywhere and nowhere. What does not exist in their realm is impossible for them to trace. They are unable to track what travels across worlds. Furthermore, they are unable to constrain what cannot be contained. You are in charge, unbound, unfazed. You were never intended to be discovered, not because you struggle to remain concealed. You travel the globe unnoticed and untraceable. Not by accident, intentionally. One by one, they employ trackers, hunters and pros, the finest. They are quiet, unrelenting, and ready to attack. However, they all come to an end. They all come back, voices low, eyes empty. Every time they say the same thing. I observed it. I sensed it. I refuse to return. No specifics. No justifications. Just be afraid, unchangeable, and raw. You don't run. You don't conceal anything. But they are unable to touch you, unable to get through to you. They are stopped by something, anything that is invisible to you, something they refuse to explain. Why do they continue to try? Why do they continue to send them? Because you are unique. The others are not like you. No one is like you, and they must understand why. However, they cannot. They won't. Because whatever is in you and what surrounds you will not allow them to possess you. Did you feel it? That change? That tug? They are unable to cross that invisible line? Share your knowledge with everyone. Share your observations with everyone. Or don't. But they will continue to arrive. And they will continue to fail. Because they can't locate you. Not for them to comprehend. They cannot claim it. Leave a comment below. Tell your tale. But be aware of this. They're observing.